China never bets against the United States and never interferes in its internal affairs. China has no intention to challenge the United States or to unseat it. The United States should not bet against China or interfere in China's internal affairs. It should instead welcome a peaceful, stable, and prosperous China.
That was Chinese President Xi Jinping speaking to business leaders in San Francisco on Wednesday night, who, by the way, gave the Chinese dictator a standing ovation. Yeah, despite Xi issuing a subtle warning to the United States over its pursuit of reunification with Taiwan after claiming China is not working against America's interests. China's foreign ministry spokesperson was more direct on X, writing this: the U.S. should take real actions to honor its commitment of not supporting Taiwan independence. Stop arming Taiwan and support China's peaceful reunification. China will realize reunification, and this is unstoppable. Joining me right now with reaction is Fox News senior strategic analyst, retired four-star General Jack Keane. General Keane is also the chairman of the Institute for the Study of War. General, it's always a pleasure to speak with you. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, delighted to be here, Maria.
We've been talking all morning about Chinese nationals coming into the country, about this meeting where so many issues were not brought up. Give us your reaction in terms of the meeting with Xi Jinping and Joe Biden, as well as this effort to send all of these Chinese nationals into America. You heard Christopher Oliveras. He says they're largely military-aged men.
Well, first of all, dealing with the meeting itself, I think there should be meetings. We've proven that in the 45 years in the Cold War with the Soviet Union. And some of those meetings, particularly between Reagan and Gorbachev, actually led to an improvement in the situation in terms of nuclear treaties. We're very far from something like that here. But nonetheless, I mean, my concern about the meetings, I think, has always been from the outset is the administration's behavior. They believe by having these kinds of meetings, they think they can change China's behavior. China operates in its own national interest. And the only thing that I've seen it in terms of impacting its behavior is when it's confronted. And I don't believe these meetings are going to serve that kind of interest. China walks away from the meetings. They certainly publicize them as an information tool back home. Certainly that standing ovation that President Xi got, I'm telling you, is going to play over and over and over again. To have American business leaders doing something like that, I think is something outrageous. China is conducting the most comprehensive penetration of American civil society by its cyber espionage campaign in the history of the United States. I read in between the lines, and I think the FBI in China counter it is somewhat overwhelmed. They're not saying that, but I believe that's probably where we truly are.
This is an incredible statement that you just made, General. I want to zero in on it. Let's take a break. We've got to also talk about Iran and the Middle East. Stay with us. We're talking with General Jack Keane this morning. We'll be right back. Welcome back. I'm back with General Jack Keane. And General, you just made such a stunning comment saying that this is the biggest penetration into America from China that anybody has ever seen. Add on to that these attacks from Iranian proxies, 60 attacks on our troops in the Middle East. What should we be doing in response to all of this? We're like sitting ducks.
Well, a couple things. First of all, you got to recognize why are they doing that? Their long-term objective is to dominate and control the Middle East region. This is Iran. And to accomplish that, they want to push the United States military presence out. That's why they've been attacking us 83 times before the Hamas attack, and obviously 61 times since that time, with that objective in mind. And they also use their other proxies to try to weaken and destroy the state of Israel. So that's what's going on here. This is Iran with its proxies trying to accomplish those objectives. The administration tries to separate that. That's dead wrong. They're connected. Secondly, hitting the proxies is not going to stop them. I've said that multiple times for the last few weeks. We've had two presidents that figured out how to deal with Iran and its use of proxies. Yeah. Ronald Reagan, the IRGC, was attacking our ships in the Persian Gulf when we were escorting them through the Persian Gulf. He took out their bases and hit their oil platforms. Trump took out the IRGC leader.
Yes.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.